Hello everyone, Reggie Tam here playing some 40 and 60 straight no limit hold'em for you guys on YouTube. Please hit the likes, the shares, subscribes. No one's been hitting them buttons lately, probably because I've been playing PLO, Pineapple, this, that and the other, and maybe because it's just part of the rules where you have to beg for this shit, so please do hit it. I'd like lots of likes um, just to nurse my narcissism, I guess, for want of a better way of putting it. And we are doing some no limit hold'em stuff again for you guys, so hopefully that will induce some more positive comments, likes, that type of thing. Don't know how long the video is going to be. You'll already know. I'm planning on putting a decently long session in and recording most of it. I'm expecting someone to come and take some rubbish away at some point, so I'll need to move away and go and pay that guy. And no doubt the phone will ring at least once or twice, because that's just what fucking happens when I'm making videos in the mornings. But yeah, who knows? You already do. Video could be 3 hours, could be an hour and a bit, depending on how much I'm enjoying it. Could be 45 minutes if it goes fucking terribly. But yeah, this is likely to be my only cash game session of the day, so I'm hoping to make it a long one. We've got 40 and L here, tables 1 and 3, 60 and L tables 2 and 4. In sterling, that is like 20 and L, 30 and L, and in US dollars it's like 25 and L and 40 something and L. 50 and L maybe nearly, I'm not sure. So yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter what the stakes are. It's no limit hold'em for real money at the kind of medium to upper end of the micro stakes. No idea about any of these players at any of my table. I think this guy might be a regular. Don't really recognise the names. Oh, I love Abbott's here, regular. I guess the players are going to be a mixture of loose fish and tight fish. There aren't many good players in these games. There's tight players, there's players who are trying to play well, but there aren't many like players that are just like put you in mind-bendingly tough spots. The game's played pretty nice, pretty straightforward. All the usual rules apply. You know, try not to pay off, try not to miss value, keep pressure on your opponents, etc. And that's the strategy we're going to be going with a liberal sprinkling of extra aggression than you usually see in my videos, because I am trying to add more aggression to my game, because I think that's definitely an area that's been weak in my game for a while. Not particularly aggressive, kind of just waiting for fat value spots and then taking them. But I've been watching the Ponk Negreanu Heads Up Challenge, and it's inspired me to try and find more aggression in more spots. So that's what we're going to do here with one overcard and some backdoors. We're going to peel the flop versus that largish bet. I think we can probably bet this turn. He's going to check back a lot anyway on this, so I think we're just going to go and lead out. I think it's a reasonable turn for us to take a stab at. It's bricky, so you know, it's not like we can check call again, and when one of the undercards from the flop pairs on the turn, it's never a terrible spot to try and pick up pots with stuff that's otherwise going to check fold. Facing a huge 3-bet here with the 5s. They're going to be return to sender. Looks like this table's going to break. You're going to get this a lot during the session, I guess, if we're going to be playing a 3-hour session. There's going to be times when we're going to have to bring new tables in and have a little bit of a space for a moment or two. I can live with that. turn a pair here on table 4. No reason to slow down. Can I be asked to play three-handed? Probably not. I mean, there are 39 VPIP and a regular. Maybe it's worth sticking with the table with the 39 VPIP. That's trips. We like that. We like trips. Hopefully he decides to get out of line. Irregular. You never know. He might just look at that board and say, "You ain't got none of that, son." But he didn't. Sadly not. Let's see if there's anything with 5 seats or 4 seats in our neighbourhood. There currently isn't. So we'll leave it as it is for now. Someone's joined anyway. Probably fill up again. That's a useful turn card on table 3. He's going relatively big with his bet. Giving up with the 8-9, there's just nothing going on for us. He checks river, which is good news for us. Let's go with the rep the misdraw over bet. He absolutely snapballs. Been finding lots of overbets lately, probably too many. Probably been overdoing it, like you often will when you know, it's like when you first discover wanking. You didn't just do it once a week, did you? You get a new toy and you decide, usually play with it until you're bored of it. And I'm not bored of overbetting yet. There might be a possibility I could be doing some streaming again in December. I've been looking at some new computers this morning, either being Black Friday or very close to being Black Friday. Plenty of bargains about seeming to be had. I haven't got a clue what's good and what isn't, so I'll be relying on people who know more than me to advise me. But there's a possibility that there might be the occasional morning stream. I don't have tons of time to stream, to be honest with you. When I've looked at my week, I won't be streaming when my wife's in, because where my computer's set up is our main living area, and I don't think she'd appreciate me doing that. So it maybe only be 1, possibly 2 mornings per week, depending on what time I got my fat ass out of bed, what time my wife was due home from work. I could see myself definitely doing Tuesdays and Thursdays. Thursdays for sure. There's a possibility. But it would depend on how good the computer is at coping with the app sites, OBS and whatever other pressures get put on it through streaming, and how arsed it can be. Turning well today. With the cold 4-bet here. Just pressing buttons because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know why that's done that to me. I do not know why I couldn't use my... Alright, it's because he's gone all into... Right, I see. I didn't notice he'd gone all in 2. That's what I didn't notice. The old Concoon was in. And we win. Didn't even realise. I thought I was just playing against the 3-bet here. And we weren't. We were playing against an open, a 3-bet and a cold 4-bet. And then I just panicked and mashed buttons. Never mind. We'll take it. I think my small blind strategy needs some work too. Hands like 10-8 suited there, I feel like I should be playing them more than I do. But I know that flattening out the small blind isn't a particularly good play. Even in games where, you know, you don't see loads of pre-flop aggression. Would normally pop this up a little bit, but not against somebody who's limped up a 19 blind stack. So he checks back flop, then min raises turn. Let's see a 9, please. A red 9. Red 4. Marvellous. Oh, bothering with this table. Don't do heads up. Especially don't do heads up against people who I think might even be close to competent. But of course we're going to have our button. We're not going to turn our button down. I mean, that size just reeks of bullshit, but couldn't really care less. But out of here, someone's just sat, but never mind. Let's see if there's anything else. Don't want to join a pineapple table because you guys will just sulk. Oh, some of you will. See if this table fills up again. Any? Whilst keeping my eye on the lobby for 40 or 60 now tables that have at least 3 players. Seems like a pretty light get it in from this dude here. This guy's got, well, there's only 34B pip, nothing to get too excited about. We'll wait. If one more player sits this table, we'll rejoin. Just, I'm not good short-handed. I don't like playing short-handed. I especially don't like doing it when I'm playing multiple other tables and making a video. Come on, lobby. Buy me something. Not dropping down to 20, you know. That's not on today's to-do list. Theoretically, we're supposed to be a bit really small on these. I find that works far better in position than out of position. So we're just going to give up. And there's a 3-seat 40L table. Let's slide that in. Oops, we've got something going on here. Defend the ace-4. Not going to play the ace-8. Let's get this slid in. Checking down on the double paired board. Certainly going to call a river bet if he makes one, because it looks like he's got nothing. Then I've got 340 now, which isn't ideal. I'd rather be playing more 60 than 40, but we'll grind the games that are there. I mean, we could get on waitlist and shit, I just can't be bothered. Just grab the empty seats and get going. Because there probably are plenty, if we don't hide the full tables, as you can see there's plenty of games running. Traffic is good, just can't be asked, it's not a waitlist guy. Impatient. I'm either going to be very patient and game set the fuck out of things, or I'm just going to grab the first available tables and grind the fuck out of them. And today we're in the grab the first available tables and grind the fuck out of them mode. 4x, interesting. So you want to have reg-ish type stats, then you want to have a 4x under the gun range. Fair dues. I'm going to go with the slightly bigger c-bet size here with the aces on the Queen 9 deuce. Plenty of things he can have here that wants to continue. He wants to raise, well he doesn't have 3 queens. He might have 3 deuces. He doesn't have the ace-high flush draw. We're not loving this spot at the moment. Don't think he raises just a queen on the flop. He can have some jack 10, things like that. And now I think we have the best hand pretty much always. I'll go another check here and just rip on him when he bets. If he bets, he just gives up, which is unfortunate. Didn't think he had anything there really. So didn't really think there was that much point in betting. Maybe give him one last chance to bluff or to value bet thinly or whatever. Pocket pause. Nope. You can take it, sir. Not a big one for set mining in 3-bet pots. I'd do it if it's multi-reaction or if the 3-bet's too small, but if it's a reasonable size 3-bet, I usually just pitch them. They're not particularly playable post-flop. I think you just hemorrhage red line with them. Not for me. So you've opened ace 10 and been squeezed. Don't think you're going to fold this one. Goes with exactly half pot. With the gut shot to the nuts and with like the backdoor flush draw, and it being a board that he's going to see bet with a remarkably high frequency. I think all of those things mean make a kind of dicey call. And now we're going to shove rivers. When he checks back the turn, he probably doesn't have many flushes. He has 3 kings though. Fair dues. Fair dues. He's never folding that hand. Didn't expect him to fold that hand. Maybe he folds ace king sometimes. Maybe. Maybe once in a while he has ace queen and decides to fold it. Is it once he checks back the turn, he just doesn't have flat flushes. I mean, he doesn't have that many flushes anyway because it's a 3-bet pot, and like some of the high cards are out there that would compromise his like suited variety 3-bets. So felt like it's worth a punt to me. Obviously, he's never ever ever going to fold 3 kings, but I think there's plenty of stuff there that he probably will fold to a jam one when he checks back on the diamond. Sadly for us, he just had one of the hands that was never going to fold. And I think there's things I could have done differently that hand, but the river shove isn't one of them. I think fold pre to the 3-bet, maybe full flop. Both of those things are borderline to the point where I think folding in both situations is probably better than calling. So I think we probably lean towards folding pre, lean towards folding flop. But once he checks back the turn, I'm fine with the river shove. Absolutely turbo calls. The first is the 4-bet, and we do not get particularly good flop, so we are shutting down. I suspect he just has a lot of ace highs, but we've Spewed one off already. Don't really fancy spewing another off. No, we'll just give up. Just give up. Wow, King High is good. What the fuck is that all about? King High is good. That'll do me Image of the World of good, won't it? What could he even have had there? Well, obviously like suited connectors and shit, I guess, but yeah. 3-bet, snap call the 4-bet, and then just let me walk into the end zone with my King 3. Interesting. Think he might be on red alert to not fall to our 4-bets. Do you think we should probably not 4-bet bluff this guy for quite a long time? I mean, our image now should last at this table for the next, if this table doesn't change dynamics, we should have a good image for the next hour or so. Hopefully we can find some good hands in that time and capitalise on what the King 3's given us. See bet the 9s on the Jack 5 deuce. Doesn't seem like a terrible board for us. He turbo calls. 5 pairs a turn. Checking, not folding yet though. 8 pairs, 8 comes on the river. We're just going to check down here. Hope to check down. I think given the line we're taking, we need to pay off here. Pocket 9 is going to be one of the best hands we have that takes this line. He has an offsuit 4-6. Happy days. Happy, happy days. I don't think we could check the line we took there with 2 9s and then just fold river. Keep hearing movement outside my house like someone's taking rubbish away, but someone's knocking the door right now. We're going to sacrifice the 8s while I go and pay this gentleman. And we are back. Now we just wait for the phone call, and then we've completed the things that might disturb the video. Bingo card. Defending the Queen 10 here, hoping to see a useful flop. It's not completely useless. We do have a good shot. This is the guy we felt it earlier, wasn't it, with the Ace Queen versus our King, or whatever it was. Not going anywhere just yet. Normally that would be a good turn for us to barrel, as we talked about earlier, but I think it works less well on King and Ace sideboards where people are just going to have more Ace X than King X. You guys might feel differently, but at the moment I feel like I'm playing some of the best poker I mean, we should always be playing our best poker we've ever played because we should always be improving, right? But so I guess I'm not sure. I need to think about how I'm going to word this. It feels like I'm like as on my game as I've been in quite some time. You know, like to feel like I'm playing pretty damn well. Feel like I'm running pretty well. Feel like I've got the hunger and desire for the game. We have showdown value with the ace high, don't we? Which kind of wish we almost didn't, because then we could just bluff. But never mind. We won. Our showdown value won. I'd almost rather have not had the ace high there, so we could just have like a more clear like picture in my head of how I wanted to play the hand. One over card, backdoor wheels, backdoor flush draws, etc. We're going to take a stab at that flop. Check back the ace king. 9 is not a particularly good card, so we're not going to bet. And he like leads pretty big on the river. Well, not pretty big, half-potish, but whatever. We have literally nothing, so we don't care. And that board was all over the types of hands that defend 3 bets. Defend versus 3 bets, sorry. Would have been a bad spot to get creative over his river, I assume, value bet. I do a lot more c-betting these days than I used to. And I find it very useful. I find it useful in that I'm picking up more pots than I used to pick up. I think it also helps create a better, like a more aggressive image. So then, you know, if I'm picking more pots up with the bets, and then when they're not working, I am creating like a more aggressive image for myself. So my value bets are more likely to get paid. That's a good thing too. And I was talking about this in the Discord group last night. Let's play this 6-5 suited first. We've gone multi-way. We're getting a pretty damn fine price closing the action on the button. And then we get that flop, so we can forget about it now. Yeah. So I was talking about this, I can't remember which Discord group it was in now, but I kind of pre-flop and flop, I'm kind of like stabbing around, small bets, small raises, small 3 bets, that type of thing. And basically, you know, the strategy works well enough that it makes money anyway, just on like the bets and raises that are already make money. But on top of that, I'm kind of just using pre-flop and flop as like streets when I want to gather information that I can hopefully then use better than my opponents on the later streets and then make more money on later streets as well. So that's kind of where I'm at with all that. We flopped a set here against someone who's got no money, which is most unfortunate. I didn't mean to bet that flop. Don't think it's a huge disappointment that we didn't. And now we didn't bet the flop, so we're not betting the turn. I should have bet one more, a little bit more on the flop here, so our turn isn't an overbet. Don't get any more money. So yeah, I'm kind of pre-flop and post and that on the flop. Lots and lots of like bad players, and then that your weaker eggs. They'll get too excited with the good hands, and they'll let you know very early in the hand if they're anywhere near the tops of their ranges, and if they've got good hands, they will let you know early at the spot where you can get off the hook for the cheapest. And then when they don't do that, then you can use that to your advantage later in hands. With either do I want to like value bet thinly here? Do I think I can bluff this player? Like use the information of them not knowing full well they are not particularly strong early in the hand, to then later in the hand either use that information to apply lots of pressure to them to bluff them or to value bet versus them. It would kind of suck to get check raised here with the Queen Jack, so we're not going to bet. Hopefully he bets a river. We get to tank and shove. Not betting this multi-way over here. So we're in the tank, in the tank, in the tank. Oh shit, our timemate's going to run out. Bang. We're all in. And he snap fold, so that was a total waste of time. So yeah, in case I didn't explain that very well, basically my pre-flop and like flop strategies are making me money anyway in what I'm doing. I mean, I've started betting more often, 3-betting slightly more, etc., etc. Just little bits and bobs of things that are making me money. But I'm also gathering information more efficiently, more effectively, clearer information that allows me to make much better decisions on later streets too. So all in all, right now, I'm really happy with where my game's at, with where my strategy's at. You might look at some of it and think, wow, that's fucking rubbish. Why are you doing that? That's really shit. But it's working for me, and we're all different. We could have 6 different players with 6 very different styles and 6 very similar win rates. I think you have to, when you're playing poker, you need to kind of have, everyone has that, I think we talked about this in the previous video, everyone has the same basic straw man, and then you can do what you want with that as long as you don't get too far out of line and make it work for you. If you understand what you're doing, and then you understand how your player pool reacts to things you're doing, and you can do some pretty cool stuff that other people aren't doing, and vice versa. Other people can do stuff that you don't understand, and you look at it and think, oh, that looks bad. But that guy's printing money because it's his style, and he understands how people react to it. Yeah, I think once you got the basic, right, we open these hands from these positions all nailed down, and we don't open limb, we I don't know, we never fucking open 7 deuce off, or we always open pocket aces, all that sort of. Once you got the basic pre-flop, easy stuff, the sort of stuff you can learn in like fucking 2 hours just watching YouTube, then I think you have license to take things kind of off in whichever directions suit you, as long as you're not going too far with them and getting too far out of line. And I've been kind of like pretty tight passive for a very long time, and it's worked very well. And it works very well when you're game selecting and bum hunting. In fact, it works pretty much perfectly. Keep the pot small when you don't have anything. Blow up the pot when you're nutted against fucking idiots who don't pay attention to that sort of stuff. That works really well. But it's hard to get volume and be a bum hunter. And bum hunting at higher stakes just isn't a thing now because you're just starting to bums there. So, the time comes when your primo strategy is less effective just because the state of, online poker has changed, then you have to adapt with it, and you either adapt by changing your game or by changing the games that you are playing in, or maybe you switch to tournaments, maybe you switch to PLO, Pineapple, whatever, booking stud, Raz, Badusi, Badugi, booking 5 card stud, fucking 5 card draw, you name it. You know, there's all the games are out there. Again, this is maybe a marginal defend. It's a fucking pretty hand, isn't it? Could be spew time incoming, because I don't think we're folding this flop. And if blue wants to come on the turn, or a 5, or a 4, or a, you know, an 8, would be beautiful. Lots of turn cards where I could spew here. That isn't one of them. That is not one of them. And he's going to win the hand. Yeah, so I had choices. I had investigated the PLO streets, which I enjoyed, but it's not really good for making videos because people just aren't interested in them. And as much as I'm a poker player who derives a chunk of his income from playing, I'm also somebody who makes a chunk of his income from kind of like running an affiliate business. And if no one's absorbing your content or interested in joining the games that you're playing, then that side of the business fucks off down a little bit. So it's still in my best interest to play no limit. And if I'm going to be playing no limit, then I want to be a winning player doing it, and I want to be able to make good, hopefully engaging content. And I think for tabling no limit, not giving a fuck about table selection and just trying to play as well as I can is best for my overall income streams at the moment. So that's what I'm going to do. When if that means I have to put a little bit of work into my no limit hold'em game, which I haven't done for a long time, then I'm happy to do that. It's fun sometimes studying, or I don't study. I haven't watched a training video for ages, but watching good players playing and then hearing good players commentating gives me enough stuff to work with that keeps no limit hold'em interesting for me. This player's checked twice, so we're going to bet small on the turn here, and then if he calls, for sure make a big river bet. Don't think he has very much here. I think he probably bets with a flush draw at some point. He just check calls, checks again. So he check, call, check again. He can't be strong there. If he wants to hero us with one pair for 2x pot, then good for him. I don't even mind when my overbet bluffs get called, because especially when they get called light, because it just means you got the green light to value bet the fuck out of that player for the next who knows how many sessions. Because if somebody catches you 2x pot overbetting with a complete airball, you can guarantee they'll be looking out for that kind of play again. And so the next few times you then show them something different, and normally works out pretty well. This guy is fucking going for it. He's gone 3-bet pot. That's not a line you see very often, is it? 3-bet pre, pot flop, pot turn, snap pot in 2. And now he's in the tank for his last 22 bigs. 7-8. Decided the deuce on the turn was good for him when it clearly fucking wasn't. So this guy could be very face up, 45%, so he's probably going to be playing wide ranges. But he could be very face up. You like raise pre-flop and then just play the very weak line that eventually folded against us. And then 3-bet queens and just fucking blasted. So we'll bear that in mind when making future pots with him. Bet the turn pretty big here with the open ender. probably give up if we brick rivers, I think. So we ISO to 5x here and got 3 callers. We're going to be taking it very easy in this spot. It's certainly not going to be c-bet in this flop. Don't like his line much there. I think his turn lead's ambitious. I mean, why the fuck this guy is not betting the river is and will remain a mystery to me. I should mute my microphone there when I was moving. Yeah, but I don't. You can't lead out with top pair mediocre kicker multi-way in that spot. Right, kid. Right, you got regular stats, but you're not very good. Here's our flush drawn over in position. We turn a pair, which allows me to check back the turn. And check back the river. Hope to beat 6 deuce. That's disappointing. I wanted to see a flop with the 5-3 there. But never mind. I also wanted 9-inch penis and to start out my premature ejaculation problems, but been 30 years of being unable to do that, so I'm used to disappointment. Rykid with the call of the 4-bit. Fucking now my fucking mobile's ringing. I'll bring it back in a moment, it's just my mum. And we get the jump through on the turn. Could be spewy. Could be spewy, but fuck it. Right, let's ring mother back. Alright, Brent, what's up? I haven't looked because they revised the tiers, haven't they? But it's not terrible. It'll meet pubs and the tier 3 is where you can't do shit. Tier 2 is probably, without looking, I don't know, but you'll probably be able to go to pubs and imagine kids will be able to come and see you again, stuff like that. But I'll have a look because I'm in the middle of something at the minute, so I'll have a look, and when I come up and see you, I'll give you more information. No, I'll be up at 2:30 because I've got to pick Quinn up at 3:30, so. Well, I'm just in the middle of something at the minute, so. Right, okay, well, I'll have a look and I'll tell you when I come up. Alright, see you in a bit, bye. Just realised I forgot to mute my mic, so apologies for you listening to a one-sided conversation. Mother, she's just asking some COVID-related stuff. Apparently we've just been placed in tier 2. Now I know what tier 2 used to mean, but I know they've restructured the tiers slightly, so I don't know what tier 2 means exactly now, but doesn't come until next week anyway, so plenty of time to study that. Not that it matters to me, because I was living in fucking lockdown type situations before lockdown was even a thing, because I don't like people very much. So I haven't been a social person for a pretty fucking long time. Bearing in mind we're a little bit deeper here with the 2 queens, and there's been plenty of action ahead of us. We're going to go with a pretty large squeeze. Get through the guy who I was most afraid of. No, I'm not too fussed about what happens pre-flop. We'll just be going with it. If someone decides they want to get creative and put more money in, and I'm on board with that. We'll take it down, which I'm on board with too. Queen, queen, out of position in a pot where 3 people have already put money in. If I could take that down pre, I'm happy. If we have to play it post flop, I'm happy. All outcomes are good there except losing. I've made that Victor too strong, but stuck with it now until the end of the video. He shouldn't be c-betting that flop too frequently, so we're just going to... Don't know a lot about that guy, haven't really been paying much attention to him. So we're not going to get too out of line just yet. If he continues to c-bet flops that theoretically don't improve him, then we will start thinking about maybe doing something about it. Especially now we're sat quite deep with him. Can't resist the Jack 9. Cannot resist it. Fun flop. Probably won't be check raising, probably just check calling. See you at the river, right, kid? Checks back. I'd rather have nothing here so I could bluff. No. Let's not bother. His line doesn't make too much sense. Check flop, sorry, bet pot. Check turn, then pot river. But it's probably value. Again, I don't think I'm going to be able to resist these odds pre-flop here with the 6-5 off. Oh, no, I am. And I didn't even realise I had auto fold on, so I'm an even bigger cunt. No idea what planet Queen 10 was on there, but I don't want to visit him. This right kid's clearly irregular. With 3 tables, seems to be playing somewhat competently. Maybe try and lose this table in a minute and try and slot a 60 table in. Nine deuce, well played, sir. So play our button and we'll sit out of this table. As the cooler comes in there. Let's see what's available to us. Ooh. 4 seats at 16L. Three bets to 10x, which is upsetting. But it's way too pretty and I am not folding it. Seems like a fun spot to check raise. I can have all of these sets. Theoretically, he shouldn't have many of them. So let's have a go. He calls. We turn a 7, which is probably a bad jam, but don't want to check call it off. Maybe he folds something. I doubt it, but maybe he does, and if he doesn't, maybe we get there. Oh, he's got hard outs blocked, which is a shame. I mean, if he's taking that line long term in these games, he's going to be getting crushed because check raise flop, jam turn there. Usually, pocket tens aren't going to be good. They were there, of course, but that is not going to be the norm. Not c-bet in the ace-10 multi-way on a 9 high flop. So we've had 2 bluffs go wrong so far in the session. Can I fuck you hard? What a strange name to choose. Anyone who chooses that name is not going to be good at poker. Just isn't going to be possible for someone with the screen name Can I Fuck You Hard to be good at poker. Just isn't a thing. need to get some of these stacks built. It's not fun being about an hour and 20 minutes into a session and having 2 stacks still at starting. Still at 100 bigs, although we have switched some tables out where we've had more chips. But it feels like we're losing at the minute. Not big. Not big. But maybe we're down. Maybe we're down a buy-in. When you have 2 all-in bluffs called, then being down only 1 buy-in maybe isn't terrible. Just too much dead money in this pot for me not to at least try and have a go at it with the Queen 7 on the button. Sadly, no one wanted to fold, and we've completely whiffed, so this adventure is well and truly over. Maybe not. Maybe we spike a jack. Maybe we don't spike a jack. Oh, we would have spiked a jack, but it was just too expensive, and we would have chopped it anyway. Oh, aces. Just going to keep betting big here with the, or big on the bigger side with the aces. Hope not to get raised. King Jack gets there on the river. I'm going to go with the small bet, because I think now we don't get value from a jack on a big bet. I think if that river was like another deuce or something, we could have gone pretty damn big there. But on the king, I'm going to bet a size that makes it too tempting for a jack to fold. This guy's just a little bit too loose. So we're going to have a little cheeky little 4-bet. Please just fold. Oh, fuck off then. Don't fold then. See if I care. Not sure why this pot hasn't been raised. It's ace jack. Been check raised here, which I don't enjoy, but obviously can't fold the ace jack just yet. He bets a turn. I think he's just had 2 pair a lot here. Yeah. Maybe he's bluffing. Take our showdown value here with that ace 8. We check the flop, we call the turn. Feels too thin on the river. Queen 4. Okay then. slices again. Right about there. And a 4 big blind under the gun open. Which will make it interesting if somebody calls. So we need to make this an amount. Oh. Right, we're going to call here so he can jam, so then we can rejam. That's the plan. Let him jam. Which he does. He's not folding, and then we get to rejam. Okay, we get to call it up instead then. Please hold. Beautiful. That's how we like to do it. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of what just happened there. That needs to happen more often. Now we're mega deep, so we get to set man. We get to flick it in here with the ace king. We have a set here. It's all happening. No, we're not going to run it multiple times. Happy days over here. Sadly, we do not make any money with the set, but never mind. It's a nice little flurry of activity, wasn't it? Won an enormous pot here. Won a flip here against a whale. Can I fuck you hard? No, but I will fuck you hard. Oh, the queen's dirty. The queen feels dirty. We are not betting this turn. So I'm not sure how I'll feel about calling a bet on the river. If he goes really big, I'm probably going to fold. If he goes smallish, I just don't think we beat very much here. Really don't. So we fold. That queen felt awful heavy. Didn't like it. As soon as I saw it, I was like, ugh. Don't like you. Don't like you much. You know when you meet someone for the first time and you just know, fuck me, this guy's a prick. That's how I felt about that queen when it fell. Like, you are a prick, queen. You are something I have taken an instant dislike to. I'm going to use Jack Queen offsuit to 4-bet with here. And we take it down. Can't you be letting these regulars routinely piss you around? Ace deuce going for a check raise. Don't check raise very often on ace high boards, but I think it's going to be reasonable enough here. Okay, we're not going to be able to go for a check raise. Now I'm not loving it very much. Called in 2 spots with the ace queen. Going to bomb the turn and then just feel committed. Well, we've been called in 2 spots and then someone just decides to go all in on this river. That is disappointing. Get called in 1 spot, I think we just flicked the call in there, but we've been called in 2 spots. We've only got 1 pair and the 4-6 suited got there. We were beating 2 spots there. Happy with my fold. Three bets here. As I said, do we 4-bet and go with pocket 8s or not? He didn't 3-bet. No. Felt like I wanted to keep the aggression up there, but no. It certainly wouldn't have worked. 3 streets would have worked, but I don't think it's a spot where I'm ever going to be firing 3 streets, so... Well, I'm going to be firing 3 streets with, like, some of my hands, but it's not... Didn't feel like it was the spot to be doing it there. Don't think we need to be battling with Raikid. He's probably... Because he's at 3 of our tables, maybe he's the only, like, decent regular at the tables. And he's not going to be the one we're going to be, like, going out of our way to battle with. I mean, if we have to, we will, but... You know, we 4-bet him earlier. He's seen us be aggressive in other spots. I think we're just kind of going to play pretty straightforwardly against Raikid and look to do some more funky stuff with other players. Oh, I didn't realise he had 8 blinds. I would not have opened this hand had I been aware of that rather salient piece of information. Fucking reload or fuck off, mate, will you? We don't need 13 big blinders. It's not a fucking tournament, son. You can add some more chips on. Don't think this guy has a flush. Don't think he has his beat. Don't think he can call with worse very often. So we check. I was correct on all of those things. Sadly, he chose not to bluff though. So we didn't get to do a hero call. So maybe when he does bet, we shouldn't call because maybe he doesn't bluff very often. Disappointing. Good shot here with a backdoor flush draw. We're going to be seeing a turn. Called 4-bet over here, so we're going to be seeing a fold. No. I think another one of my leaks is sometimes getting out of line against people who are showing multiple streaks of aggression. I think I should be doing most of my out of line aggression when there's at least been like a chink of weakness shown. And you get plenty of opportunities for that. I think when someone open, c-bet flop, barrel turn, maybe check raising gut shots isn't anywhere near a good line. I mean, it's like, you see those lines, you're like, right, well, what can you call with here, buddy? Call with your sets, call with your 2 pairs, fold most everything else except your draws maybe, but over pairs, yeah. Basically, that little ramble means that he's going to have lots of stuff there that just isn't going to fall to a raise because his raise pre and he's double barreled. So it's probably not the spot to be looking to find too many bluffs. And I think I've been looking to find too many bluffs in those spots for a very long time, and I need to stop doing that. And again, I've opened into this short stacking prick when I shouldn't have done. Luckily this time he didn't jam. That is a top set at a table where I think our image isn't great. He calls. No reason to take our foot off the pedal. He min raises, which is just fucking weird. But I can't imagine he's min raising to fold very often. Hopefully he's just got a set and he's playing in a bizarre way. He folds. Okay then. In position there, I just call all day versus a check min raise because we ensure a bet goes in on the river. But out of position, we're just going to fucking rip it. I mean, he's put 44 big blinds in on the turn. He's put 12, so he's put 55 big blinds in. If he wants to fold for the rest there, then good for him, I guess. There's a very strange line there from someone who's with a 30% VPIP. Would imagine someone who's trying to play well at least. And he pulls that line out. Raise. Don't raise. Don't raise. That'll do. I don't think my image is particularly clean at this table, so we're not going to get out of line with our C bets for a little while. We do have two overcards though, and some backdoor potential, so we're going to peel one. Guess now we're just calling down. Shouldn't have too much 3x in his range. And obviously have pocket 10s for value. Seems like a good run out. So what do we lose to here? Ace 10, quad 3s. We'll give him a bit of his own treatment, I think. And we'll put the check min raise in. We don't even lose to pocket 10s, do we? What the fuck am I talking about? Oh, yes, we do. Of course we lose. No, we don't. We just lose to ace 10. Did I even say? I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. My main's turned to mush. We've been recording for an hour and a half. My brain is turned to mush. We give him a bit of his own treatment. He didn't like it and he folded. We'd love to see it. If I'd have been on the ball there, I would have shown him the fucking jack. But I wasn't on the ball. Beginning to realise, well, I'm quite shit at tournaments, because after like an hour and a half, because I was playing like maybe 15 minutes before the start of the session, so after an hour and a half, 2 hours, my powers of concentration do seem to start to wane. I'd love to get back to where I could just put long sessions in. I'm working my way back there. No way, it's just too big for the King 10. And I got to a point at one point where I was playing like an hour and I was done. I was cooked. I was like, fucking hell, take a break, Reg. I'm starting to build it back up now where I can put 2 hours in before I start thinking like, you know, you just realise when you're just like not focusing and you're starting to look at the clock thinking, have I done long enough yet? When you start thinking like that, it's one of two things can happen. You can either refresh yourself and go again, or you can be like, don't think I've got another hour in me or whatever. And recently I've been, well, not recently, for a long time now, you know, I've been considering 2 hours to be a relatively long session, and I've been maybe only doing that twice a day. You know, maybe if I'm doing well, I'm averaging playing 23 to 25 hours a week, and it's not good enough for someone who has as much spare time as me. It's lazy. I've kind of let myself get out of shape with in terms of like mental stamina, and yeah, and there's money to be made in these games. I could probably make a close to a living in these games if I put the hours in. You know, there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to pull, you know, £800 plus a month out of these games if I put the hours in. And it's easy just to kind of get a bit like, well, I'm making a little bit, that's fine. And that's great until something goes wrong. And all of a sudden, I'm forced to go and start looking at other people's fucking rotors again and having a boss again because my income isn't quite where I want it to be. And that's what can happen. You know, you can take your eye off the ball. Then maybe your win rate drops, your hours you're putting in drop, and all of a sudden you're like, fuck, I need to get some more money here. And, you know, then I'm going and whistling some fucker else's tune. I'm having to go in places that I enjoy going to, but don't necessarily enjoy spending time with my colleagues because many of them are fucking idiots. And then taking orders from bosses that, to be frank, have been promoted beyond their capabilities, and it's like, do I need all this shit in my life? Probably not. So yes, mental muscle, Reg. We're going to rebuild it and get back up to putting 30-hour weeks. And the problem is you can't just jump to it. You can't just say, right, that's it, fuck it, I'm putting a 35-hour week in this week. You know, I guess it's like, I mean, and I don't want to talk because I've never fucking been fit in my life really, not since a kid anyway. I've never been fit in a way where I've had to work towards it, but I guess I couldn't just go to the gym tomorrow and then just start doing 10 miles on the fucking treadmill and lifting loads of weights. You know, you've got to build back up to it. You know, I can't just go from putting 22, 23-hour weeks into saying, right, Reg, we're a 40-hour a week man from here on in. That's just not how it works. You've got to do these things gradually. Be like, right, well, you know, the goal this week is 25 hours. Then, you know, maybe that's the goal until that becomes easy. And then it's like, right, we need to find another 2 hours from somewhere. And maybe have the goal of being a 30-hour a week man by the turn of the year. Rather than just saying, I'm going to be a 30-hour a week man starting next week. I have plenty of time to do it. I just seem to find it easy to find reasons to do other stuff rather than just put the grind in. And that's because I'm comfortable. I'm just like, I'm in a decent spot, making some money from various different things, enjoying everything I'm doing. I don't need to work hard. But no one ever had long-term success by not working hard, did they? So yeah, I don't set goals much anymore because I've set so many goals during my time doing YouTube shit and achieved so few of them. I mean, my fundraising goals, I always do well with them. I guess, you know, that's one thing, I suppose. But yeah, that should have been an open, you fucking idiot. So yeah, I'm not going to set a goal as such, but it would be nice to be a more dedicated grinder, work towards being a more dedicated grinder over the coming days and weeks. And of course, the more you play, the more natural a lot of your decisions become. You get more used to seeing certain patterns. Your pattern recognition gets better. You find a lot more decisions become relatively routine, and you make less and less mistakes, hopefully. One thing that's like always been pretty good in my game is like, I mean, you can call it a few things: instinct, pattern recognition, understanding what certain lines mean by the population. But the less time you spend in the game, the less you have the opportunity to recognise those patterns, to make sure that your instincts are, on point and good. And just you lose some of the rust and some of the decisions that when you're playing 15, 16 hours a week that you find difficult, when you're playing 28 to 35 hours a week, they become far more routine and you just get much more efficient at making them. So there's not just the benefits of just putting more hours in and just making more money because you're putting more hours in. Hopefully, you improve your win rate too because you get used to what the pool's doing more. Hope this guy doesn't shove here because then we have a tough spot. As it is, we just have an easy call with a very pretty hand. And we get a very pretty flop. We're not going to be getting too aggro on this flop though because it's much more favours our opponent. Although he does go with the pot size bet, so maybe we do need to get aggro because, yeah, can't just call a pot size bet there. We just have to spin the dice. Now we've got a ton of equity no matter what happens. He just folds, which is funny. He put a big ISO raise in, 3-bet, and then he potted the flop on a board that's great for him and folded. If he bets smaller there, ironically, it's better for him because I don't jam. But when he potted it, it's like, right, well, I can't just call here. It's decision time. And obviously when you call a raise 3-bet with the Queen 10 suited and it comes King Jack with 2 of your suit, then it's just gamble time. Which is a pot size bet, and you're going to have equity against pretty much everything. You just hope he doesn't have like the Ace Jack of clubs or something like that because that would suck. But that's just one hand, and against his range you're going to be doing just fine. And sometimes, like he did then, they fold when you don't expect them to. Do I squeeze the jacks here? Do I fold the jacks here? This is under the gun and a small blind squeeze. Yes, I think I do fold the jacks here. Bock off. I mean, we're playing results, of course, but never mind. Anyways, this is going to be a good test of extending my mental muscle because I want to try and get the video to 3 hours, which means I'll put close to a 3.5 hour session in. Given it's going to be my only session of the day, it's probably slightly easier to do because we're not going to be like running into what would be the start time of second session. On a usual day, I'll maybe play a session for sometime in the morning and then an afternoon, or maybe I'll put a night shift in. Maybe I'll put 2 sessions in. But yeah, today. I mean, maybe, who knows? Maybe I'll put a night shift in. But the plan today is I'm going to do this, play poker till like 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Go and visit mother. Go and pick a young man who I give respite care to up from school at 3:30. Have him till 6:30. And then probably just spend some time chilling with the wife in the evening and decide later on, do I play a session or not? I think there's more chance of me playing a session tonight because the Negreanu Polk Challenge isn't on. But then it's Thanksgiving in America this week, today. So are the US facing sites going to be particularly busy tonight, given that lots of people will be stuffed full of turkey and alcohol? I mean, it could mean the games are going to be fantastic later, full of half-pissed full whales, or it could be that the games are going to be dead because it's Thanksgiving, and who the fuck wants to play poker on Thanksgiving? I mean, on Christmas Day, I wouldn't play poker on Christmas Day. Now, is Thanksgiving as big a deal as Christmas Day? I haven't got a fucking clue, to be honest. I don't really understand what Thanksgiving even fucking is. This guy's gone bet, check, bet. They're going to fold because even though that line reeks of weakness, in these games it's usually some cunt who's pot controlled turn and then, oh right, fair enough, he's checked back, I do have the best hand, oh I can bet again now. Seriously, like bet, check, bet is a pretty shit line to take because it's usually means you are pretty fucking capped, and you don't want to be doing that. You don't want to be taking lines that cap you too often. So theoretically, it's a spot where we should be able to maybe call a little bit lighter, maybe find some bluffs. But I mean, I've been playing these games for a long time, and one thing that rarely changes is bet, check, bet from regulars is mostly thinnish value and occasionally some bluffs. And when he bets whatever it was, he bet their half pot. Do I think people are going to be bluffing? Well, maybe. They've only got to be bluffing 25%, haven't they? In position, you can bluff catch. Sorry, out of position, you can bluff catch way more effectively against it than in position. I think when people go bet, check, bet out of position, they're way more weighted towards value than when they go bet, check, bet in position. I think when they go bet, check, bet in position, a lot of times it can just be like a light C bet, a give up, and then oh fuck it, we'll have another go at a bluff. Whereas out of position, it tends to be more, oh, I like that, I've got an ace. Oh fuck, he's called, this pot's getting big, pot control. Oh, right, he doesn't have an ace value bet. I think there's like bet, check, bet in and out of position can often mean two very different things. Posh Lee. I know quite a lot of Lees, and not one of them could be described as posh. Or Pooley. It's not even posh anyway, so... Yeah, I've met a few shit Lees. So his name could be very good now. I know more Lees that are generally shit at being people than I do that are good at being people. And if Lee Burton ever watches this, you are not one of the Lees that's shit. I promise you that. You're likely to be the only Lee I know who watches this, and you are not one of the people I am thinking of. But there's many Lees I've known in life that, if you are watching this, then it might well apply to you. It's a board we're going to want to have some raises on, but not with this hand. Very rare I will be checking with a view to calling out a position as a raiser in a 3-bet pot, but this is going to be one of those rare occasions where betting doesn't feel great, but too much to call, too much equity to call. That is, I was just thinking, don't put a club up on the river, and then it puts the actual ace of clubs up, which is one of the ones we're definitely not calling down on. Wow, look at that. Did you make your hand, sir? Did you hit a flush? Did you? Did you hit a flush? Show me you didn't have a flush. No. Probably because you can't. That's a problem though, when you start checking out a position in 3-bet pots. A, you allow shit runouts like that to come. And B, you just put yourself in a much higher stakes guessing game. But you know, you can't just c-bet everything. There are going to be some hands that you have that don't want to check fold and also don't want to c-bet. Sometimes you just find yourself in irritating spots. I try and avoid them as much as possible, but sometimes you can't avoid them, and that was one of those occasions. It just came down the way it came down and ended up being quite irritating, but nothing you can do about it. Doug Polk was talking after his challenge match last night, and he pretty much said, you know, sometimes, you know, you're in a 3-bet pot and there's just some unavoidably tough spots. It's just the way poker functions. It's just the way it is, and felt like one of those spots to me. There's no point getting mad about it. Just try and play the spot as best you can, and then if you think you could have done something differently, then don't sweat on it now. Don't dwell on it now, and just look at it after your session. I'm going to bet 5 here, fold to him if he raises, and just not give a fuck about him. He calls, which is interesting. I think he's going to have a lot of 2 Broadway cards here, so we're going to check back with our 6s, and if no Broadway cards come, probably just call the river if he bets. Broadway card did come. Yeah, read the hand perfectly, Reggie. Well played, sir. Just didn't work out. And we just bet big here and then just not fold against the 14 blind stack. I mean, we're going to lose now. We're going to put 8 more blinds in and we're going to lose to fucking Queen 9 or something like that. Ace Queen. Fair enough. Whatever, Trevor. Not sure why you would have an overbet there, but He did, but we're not holding second pair just yet. Usually a big fan of the 4x out of position 3-bet. I used to be a big fan of it. Now I'm not so much. I've been listening to various people discussing the merits of using smaller 3-bet sizes when out of position and larger 3-bet sizes when in position. And I've liked what I've been hearing, and it's something I'm now starting to implement in my game. I expect to see over the next 6 to 12 months people stop using, or the better eggs stop using these larger sizes out of position, as it starts to trickle down into the microstakes games. But for now, when I see regs doing the large 3-bet out of position, I'm just going to give them credit for having a pretty narrow depolarized range and just get out of the way a lot. That's a lot of the sort of things I'll do. I'll see good players doing things that seem counterintuitive to me, and then I'll just start doing them and see what happens. I won't even understand why I'm doing it at first. I'll just be like, oh, he's good and he's doing this, so I'm going to do it and see what happens. And quite a lot of the time, it works out okay, and then I kind of figure out why I think it's good in these games and in the games I play in, and then start to use it with more confidence. Again, another live stream. Might come off this table in a minute because there's no massively apparent whales, and if we're going to get fucking 12x 3-bet every time we open, I mean, I guess we could just adjust our open sizes and just not be 3xing when people are going to be fucking piling big 4-bets in. Big 3-bets in, sorry. Multi-way, it's not a board we're going to see bet. Interesting turn card, gives us a lot of potential. Oh, happy days. Happy days. We just get to shove here as well, which is cool. He folds. Lovely. And this guy's, probably a shit regular, I would imagine. He's doing plenty of 3-bet into large sizings. He's not fully stacked. Let's have a look at the lobby, see if there's any. They're not going to leave if there's nothing else to join. But there is. So I think we'll just fuck this table right off. Oh shit. Now I don't know which one's the one I'm supposed to join. Maybe it's this one. Well, Ratty will leave this table because three-handed is not my idea of fun. Feel less bad about switching tables in and out in a long video because it's just one of them things that's just going to happen. Right, so what do we have here? We have a lot of 3+1 games which you guys fucking hate, so we won't bother with that. And not much else at the moment. That's what is left, I think. So we'll wait. We'll just wait and see what pops up in this area. And we'll use the opportunity to have a little slurp of the Vimto that's too strong. And a cheeky little vape. Don't know what's cheeky about it, but it is. I get the impression Party Boy is not a good player. We're not going to be c-betting the 8-deuce-8 with a hand that's going to perform really badly when called. We're just going to give it the fuck up. I don't know why I didn't c-bet this flop, but now we didn't. We're done. King 3. Clubs would not have folded to do 2 barrels, and there's no way I would ever fire 3 there, so happy with my give up, even though neither player had a pair. How popular 3+1's getting, by the way, 3-1's getting, by the way. If you like those games, if you're currently playing in the Filipino group and you're looking for some higher stakes pineapple games, then the Australian group is the place to find it. It's growing in popularity here all the time. Ah, fuck it, we'll slot one in. My channel, my video. Fuck it. Sneak it in there. Won't refer to it in the video title. Strap-ons are regular in these games. To love his avatar, it's actually a strap-on. He's got his avatar, it's actually a dildo, which you've got to love. You've got to have a lot of time for a man who does that sort of thing. I'm aware how hypocritical that is when I earlier criticised the screen name Can I Fuck You Had, but Can I Fuck You Had didn't have an avatar that was relevant to his screen name, whereas Strap-on does. And also on top of that, Strap-on is actually I think, decent enough regular in these games. So there you go. Trev the Nit, I played with him in a previous club. He is not a nit. He's a fun guy to play with. Not a big fan of this flop, so we're not going to continue. Had I known this guy had limps in his range, I would have been less inclined to 3-bet the King Queen. Played with this guy a fair bit. He's just a, in my opinion, pretty straightforward nitty regular. Remember here we threw a diamond away before the flop, so if we do flop any flush draws, we need to be aware that we are one out less. Strap on isn't a folder to 3-bets, so we're not going to 3-bet him. We're just going to call and let these two guys come in the pot too. I'll give them the opportunity to come in the pot. And we're probably done with it, but we're not done with it on table 1 because we flopped remarkably well. Or we think we have. Maybe we haven't. Seems like an odd card to barrel there, the 6 for this guy. You wouldn't imagine he's betting too many 6s on the flop. But he takes it down anyway. Presuming this guy's going to have a high VPIP. Oh, is he? Is he going to have a high VPIP? We might go with a 4x open because of this guy in the blinds. If it folds to us. Instead, someone has min-raised under the gun. And we've been donked into on this board. Turned what in my opinion is the nuts. And he bets pretty damn big. Gonna make a very small raise. That gives us a super easy river shove. Oh well, never mind. That board was a little bit too connected and coordinated for my liking. There's too many bad rivers there to allow another card to come off for free. someone donks the flop and then pots the turn, I'm not expecting them to fold very often versus raises. He did. He happened to be in the spot that he did, probably just bluffing. Don't think anyone's making any really big folds there to a tiny turn raise. So when he does fold so quickly, you have to assume he was very much at the bottom of his range for taking that odd line. $50 to go. Well, actually, 45 minutes to go because it's 1:15 and I want to be finished by 2 o'clock. So we're not going to get 3-hour video, but I don't care about that. I'm going to have over a 3-hour session. Still feeling relatively fresh. Trying to get pins and needles in this hand though, which can happen sometimes when I'm in my grind position for a while. Don't know why it happens, but probably something to do with shit circulation. Sit up a bit, Reg. Sit up a bit. Wiggle that hand. Normally I wouldn't be inclined to open small pocket pairs in Pineapple, but we have this guy on the button, so we're going to be playing more hands than usual. This guy completed, then called. So we're going to take a little stab, see what happens. And we'll get it in behind versus him, but we don't care because he had like 0.2 big blinds before the hand. Really bad pins and needles. Bothering me. Oh, we're not dying. Starting to get a little bit warm in here. I do have the heating on, but the sun is out and blasting through the window behind me here. As you can see, it's very bright against this wall. But I cannot be asked to go and turn the heating off, so we'll just suffer. Right, this table 25 and a 32, probably not going to stay at this table. There's an enormous 3-bet that we are not going to defend against. Yeah, we'll play around to our blinds here and then just fuck off. Sure, we'll find another table. Probably end up being another Pineapple table, but I'll enjoy that even if you guys want. Okay, we'll play another pineapple table. Not surprisingly, the legend that you strap on here at the table. Boo! Look at that flop. Would have been in business, but strap on got aggro and it made me fold. Boo! Could have had a really cool free rolling situation here against somebody. Don't harpoon in the whale, please strap on. Oh, is he going to do it? I think he's folding. Yep. Again, I'm not going to be doing too much light 3-betting because we want to try and keep the fish in the pot because they're the guys we're most likely going to win big pots from. It does mean that we don't get to play heads up as often, which means we're just going to have to make hands. But I think when you're in with a 71 VPIP, I think you're pretty much obliged to not continue like 3-bet players and then like force yourself to play against at the top of their range whilst also simultaneously booting bad players out of the pot. So we're going to take more small pot losses, hopefully with the end result being more home runs. And to give this up against this player here. Feels like we're up for the session now. We had a couple of nice pots in the middle part of the video, didn't we? We will, at the end of the session, when we set out all our tables, we'll check results. If it's been my only session of the day, then I can just go to the daily results page and it will only have captured this session. So we'll know exactly what the scores on the doors are. Just take it down with the 8s there. Wasn't a board I was super excited about. Probably had the best hand. An opponent probably has a bunch of equity if he calls. So we're happy just to take it down and move on. I can feel myself starting to look at the clock now, which is an early indicator that I'm starting to switch off. So this is going to be a mini test for the next 30 minutes, or next 32 minutes to be precise, on retaining my focus and not just clock watching. It's like when you get to the end of your shift at work, you know, the last half an hour is really going to be your most productive, unless you're in a rush to get something finished. It's usually going to be, half an hour to go, and just like kind of switch off on autopilot. It's fine when you're doing that on someone else's time, but probably not good to do it on your own. Strap-on's going to go, isn't he? He's going to go for it here, isn't he? He's going to make it like 7x on the button. We're going to have to fold our pretty hand. Oh, you only went to 4 big blinds. That's good. That means we can call. We like this flop transferring to this table, please. Oh, Trebden, it's gone with the limp raise, and then if everyone else calls, which they don't, and now he's got no money, so we're just going to get out of the way and let Trev win with his aces. Which is probably 95% of his range for doing that, the other 5% being kings. Strap-on isolates again here. We're going to have to 3-bet because his range is just way too wide. And then we just hope that we don't see any more raises before the flop. We don't. Happy days. Happy enough to take that down. I think this guy is definitely on the out of line side, but it's hard to contain yourself in this game because you just have more pretty starting hands because you get the extra card pre-flop, which means you just get more pretty starting hands. The games are generally fishier, as you can see in this game. We have Trebden and we have this guy doing a lot of limping around, so it's easy to see why people can get carried away with the pre-flop aggression and the isolation. rooting for the ace queen here, weren't we? Give the fishy player some ammunition to carry on with against the slightly less, against a slightly tighter player, I guess, rather than say less loose then, which is a ridiculous way to express that. What I was trying to say. One of the rare occasions where I'll throw the higher card away, because the h6 is a hand we can probably play from the button, whereas the 8-9 off is probably one that we're not going to be in a rush to play. Go with the call. Don't trust 45 V-pips to fold anywhere near enough when we 3-bet them, so therefore we don't really want to be 3-betting 8 high. Go small here and then large on the river. I think this guy can call with like 7x, 5x, draws, and then fold them. It doesn't matter anyway, because this gentleman has decided to trap with his King X or better. Didn't we just walk into that one? That's a flop. You're going to see me make a very small check raise here. Okay, you're not. You're going to see me make a very small turn check raise instead. Done with the fives once we get called. Bloody hell, I'm getting warm. Phone's starting to vibrate like a good one. Gonna have lots of messages and what have you to check when we're all done. And I'm not gonna have very long to fucking do it in. 26 minutes to go, and then the more times I keep saying that, the more annoyed I am with myself, because it demonstrates that my head isn't in the game as much as I'd like it to be. Is he going to lead here? What a surprise. Who didn't see that coming? Go bigger here. We're going to be one and done with the 9-8, so we use a slightly bigger sizing. 0 turns, and we're going to barrel. Somehow we won with 9 high. Okay. Okay then. We're up down the set, man. We've been limp raised. Costing us 5 more blinds to win a pot of 16. So we're going to just hope to catch lightning in a bottle on the flop, which we do not do. This guy checks, which is ridiculous because we just know he's got a monster. Pot the turn maybe? After his check raise attempt failed? No, just half pot. What a fucking idiot. Limp raise, then check that flop. Yeah, alright, mate. This isn't Reggie's first rodeo. This is not Reggie's first rodeo, sir. It's a very disappointing 3-bet size we just witnessed there. Which we can do nothing about. Nice to get one big pot in at the pineapple before we leave, instead of just hemorrhaging 2 and 3 blinds here and there. Pins and needles have gone, by the way. That's good. That's why we've gone back more into the relaxed position. Wouldn't have been surprised to see a raise coming from the dildo there. Thankfully it didn't, because we would have had to continue against it. Just at least see a turn with our backdoor flush draw and gut shot. Now dildo, don't do your squeezy thing, dildo, because because that'd make me sad. You didn't do your squeezy thing, but you may as well have. Because that flop is AIDS. I'm not going to call a queen when someone leads out into 5 players, sorry, no 4 on an ace-high board. Just going to, if he is doing something weird, let it work for him. I'm not sure I'm in love with this play. Not sure that I'm in love with it. I think I'm definitely gone. Mentally, my sharpness has... It's left the building. I mean, once you go back into the lying back, chilled out position, how on earth are you ever going to expect yourself to be switched on? I think we're probably just going to call it a session, actually. We're not going to reach the 3 hours. Because, yeah, mentally, I've checked out. Even though I'm making a video and etc, etc, I am checked out. So we are going to leave our tables before we put any more blinds in. Perhaps I should just play in a room with no clocks and then put tape over my laptop clock and things like that. Because the minute I got to like, I've only got half an hour to go, it felt then. You know, the minute I have that thought, that should be my trigger to be like, right, give yourself 10 minutes to get your second wind. And if you don't, then call it off. We talked about that earlier. We go biggish on this turn, fold to a raise, and then probably check back most rivers, I think. We win and we leave. So we have one more hand to go over here. If this goes to a flop, we're not going to see it because we can't be arsed waiting. There we go. End of session. So how do we think we've done? Feels to me, before we check anything, like I've had maybe between $50 to $60 profit, I think. Let's have a look, see. Career day. What's that doing that for? Oh no. What am I doing here? Career day. $91. And yeah, you can see the last bit it's tapered off. Now that could just be coincidence. It could be because I've switched off a little bit. Who knows? Probably because we didn't do any good at these last two tables here. Will be the pineapple tables, and we didn't do much good at them. But yeah, I mean, we'll take that. What's that, like $91 in 954 hands, playing 40 and 60 NL, so it's a healthy win rate. Happy with that. Happy with my volume so far since we went hoodless the last 3 days. We've got nearly 3,000 hands in, which isn't bad. I'll take that. And yeah, happy with it. Happy how it's gone. Hope you enjoyed the extended video. Have a great weekend, everybody. There might be, I mean, I've said this last twice and it hasn't happened. There could be a Poker Bros video coming at some point, maybe tonight even, just to Facebook only. So if you do like my content but you're not in the Facebook group, then get over there and join it, because there is sometimes some additional content put there that doesn't go on YouTube. We'll leave it there. Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care and bye bye for now.